yeah, so I can revisit here. Yeah. Okay, let me think a little bit. Yeah, and then I'm also want to introduce other library that you can take advantage of, because sometimes the low level is a little bit tough to start, right? So we have here mchart. Mchart is, let me close the other window a little bit, okay? Okay. Yeah, mchart is like, let's say, I mean, the term is wrong on the like high level, low level, because it's a little bit different things, but let's say we can just use for convenience, just, this is like a little high level library things. So here, if you go to this basic, I also provide the boilerplate code to you guys, like for map, we need to import in the correct way. The reason I'm doing this is because the documentation, according to the documentation, I need to do this. Otherwise, I couldn't use it. And once I import the JSON using the jQuery. And then this is all about the visualization here. So I create a chart, append this div, HTML here. And then we need to create a projection, yeah, the middle of projection here. And then we have the GeoJSON data here to draw the world map here, okay. And then, I mean, this is sort of the syntax, just like a 3JS. In order to create a mesh, we need to cook geometry material first, right? And then we need to push this to material to the mesh object. This is how we cook how we generate a mesh in 3JS, right? But in the M chart, there's some rules. So we need to create the polygon series just like this. And also we can append some event, yeah? Once I think it's click, yeah? Once I click, I can populate a point here, right? Point. This is all about the mass in action. So if I click it, and then it passes the latitude, let's say SVG point, I feel like screen position. And then inside of the chart, there's some special projection things happening. And then basically they convert and they save the data called the latitude and longitude. And then with this variable, we can create the marker. Yeah, I think this is my interpretation of the lines here. So just play with it. This is, I think the data is about the airports, I think. Yeah, I just found something here. Airport data, yeah. National code, I guess, and latitude, longitude, and names of the airport, and city, and state, yeah. There's a lot of data. So meaning that you can make even same data, you can visualize a little bit different representation, yeah. And then this is the other example, the M chart. Yeah, this is Mercator projection, right? And then we can comment out, and then we can make an orthographic projection. Yeah, and then so we have the other projection, equal Earth projection. Yeah, I think it's the area gonna be preserved, but angle gonna be like different. Middle projection. Yeah, even the other library for the mapping out there, they also have a very similar concept, right? They have a projection, right? They have a base map, right? So we can visualize some graphic or marker on top of the base map, meaning that we need a projection, right? I mean, these are like a very, well, as long as you understand, familiar with the this kind of pipeline and the mental structure of the mapping or application, then we can predict. Yeah, not only predict, we can actually very easy to learn something new because they're gonna follow the principle anyhow.
Is there a reason why you're not using D3?
D3?
For this?
No. Oh, sorry. my stupid silly. It is M chart. It's not a D3.
Right.
Yeah,
but do you just have a preference, or
yeah, I have a reference. Yeah, I'm gonna introduce D3 to you guys because this is very popular and little low level compared to the M chart, meaning that there should be many ways to tweak them, but still there's a high level library. So in the canvas, actually we can create a more dynamic visualization compared to the D3 actually. Yeah. So
yeah, there's always just debate when you look at vector graphics libraries for mapping, especially. There's always debate as to what you should use, and I mean, I'm sort of like, I use D3 just because like that's the default, but I always wonder why people use other libraries for mapping.
Yeah, I mean, if I understand correctly in the context, I totally agree with you're saying. I mean, I'm not pushing you guys like because there's a good library, right? So why don't we just use it, take advantage of it? I mean, this is more about like the purpose of the individual people, I think, because my job is to create something from scratch, without limitation things. But even the D3, I have a lot of experience. I have different types of projects using D3 previously. But still, D3 has a limitation because this is generic plugin, meaning that it cannot cover all the corner cases or edge cases. It's almost impossible, right? So, I mean, for the designer, I'm very encouraged to learn the D3 because there's a lot of examples, a lot of like, problem troubleshooting things. So meaning that we can just take advantage of it because we are focusing on which allow us to focus on the visualization itself rather than tweaking some low-level coding things, right? So this is a little, obviously there's discussions. It depends on the people, I think, yeah. But I don't want like just describe how we use the D3. I just wanted to give you guys a more fundamental idea to insight to your brain. But keep in mind, as long as you trying to understand this class concept, data processing, and then I think this kind of the learning process is even helpful to take advantage of the D3 because the algorithm behind the scenes is basically identical. This mess, yeah. So. Yeah, I don't know. This is my opinion. I'm probably wrong.
That's good. Thank you.
I might be wrong, but yeah, I mean, but somebody asked me to visualize it very quickly. I probably use D3 because D3 is itself it's like a very powerful and then faster. But this is SVG. There's Canvas, but mainly SVG. SVG is a little bit different, let's say, different characteristic against the Canvas or vector graphics. When I say vector, it's not like vector, bitmap like vector graphics. Yeah. Thank you for asking this question because I think this is good to discuss. Yeah, I mean, the M chart is a more, I feel like, more high level because it's already cooked. What we need is just inject based on their API. Yeah. And then now, yeah, I'm very happy to reach D3. I was a big fan, for D3. Because it has a lot of examples here. I'm pretty sure most of you guys are familiar with D3 because you guys my workshop, yeah, meaning that you guys are interested in mapping or visualization. So yeah, D3. Everyone knows D3, and D3 is very powerful. But whenever you use D3, I encourage you guys not just use function or just dump the data to the map, but just think what's happening inside of the function and how the function tweaks the data. Yeah, actually, you can create your own special class to dealing with the D3 functions rather than just relying on the D3 functions. Correct. So again, just a lot of people use D3, meaning that there's a lot of examples we can take advantage. So I highly recommend visit, and then even even just by looking at the individual visualization, we can get a lot of insight in terms of the way of visualization, right? And then the technique or some visual representation things, because they are specialist person, they developed this library for a long time. As far as I know, the guy is a graduate of Stanford. He sum up like his work, and then he go to some newspaper company. I couldn't remember. I just heard that, but I don't know. I think this is not important. But the most important thing is that the person who developed the D3 is the specialized guy. So we can actually take advantage of this sort of well-rounded library.